Hey everybody, it's Sherry with Cards and More by Sherry. Today I'm bringing you another fancy fold card and a variation on that card as well. This one is called the Double Z Fold. If you're familiar with a gatefold card that the edges just fold in like this is basically just a glorified version of that. Here's one I've pre-made to show you what it looks like, and this one I've chosen to close with a belly band, and I made sure that my medallion in the middle is only attached up here so it does not interfere with the belly band coming on and off. And then it just opens like that. Ta-da! So you see we just have basically an accordion fold or mountain and valley, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to show you how I did this today. It's very simple. You're going to start with a piece of cardstock or pattern paper, whatever you choose to use, that is 5.5 by 12. Okay, so I'm going to put that on my scoreboard, and you can use whatever kind of scoreboard you have or however you normally score your paper is perfectly fine. We're going to score this at 2. I think I went cockeyed. 2, 4, and 8, and 10. And that's all the scoring you have to do. 2, 4, 8, and 10. The 4 and the 10 are going to be the mountain fold that folds into the center of your card. Alright, so here's the 4-inch fold. We'll fold it in. Burnish those so you get a nice crisp line. Then the 2 and the 8-inch fold, no, the 2 and the 10-inch, I'm sorry, I told you wrong, are going to go out to create that open side panel. And go this way, and then they meet in the middle, okay? So 4 and 8 fold into the body of the card, and then 2 and 10 fold out so that you get this look, okay? I have one that I have started, and I'll tell you why I pre-did some of this for you. It's because I decided to use some of my jelly plate pulls on both, this is actually just on copy paper that was a roll-off where I was cleaning off brayers and stencils. And then I used some deli paper too. Now because I used the deli paper and I used it on the inside panel, I attached it with matte gel medium. So I did that ahead of time so this could be perfectly dry. And I've also pre-cut my panels to go on the outside. Now as far as dimensions on what you would need, if you use the 5.5 by 12, these panels that go on the outside, and I did mat them, as you can see, the matte layer is 1 7/8 by 5 3/8. And then the print, in this case a jelly pull or pattern paper, whatever you're going to use here, is your decorative panel will be 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And doing that just gives you that little frame around your piece. And I did that on both of my panels that are going to go on the front. So we will attach those. Again, you use whatever adhesive you're comfortable with. You can use double stick tape, score tape, red tape. You can use liquid glue, ATG gun, which is actually what I normally use. I don't know why I have my Tombow adhesive out here. I just do. So it's there, hands reach, and that's what I'm going to use. And see, when you mat that then onto those front panels, whatever color of card base you've used then gives you an additional frame around that panel, so it looks like you've double matted it, basically. See there? You have the card base color, your matte color, and then your decorative panel, which gives you a really nice little look. Now, for the inside of my card, I have taken just a piece of white cardstock, and I have cut it 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. Added a little decorative piece of leftover from my pull, and that's what's going to go right in the middle. You wouldn't have to put the decorative piece on it if you didn't want to. You wouldn't really even have to put a panel inside this if you didn't want to, depending on what you were going to do with the inside of the card. When I use colored cardstock, I always like to add a white or an ivory panel so that it's easier for, if I'm going to put a stamped greeting or if somebody's going to write in it, it's easier to be seen that way instead of on a colored background, especially if you use a dark colored cardstock. Now, another thing I thought about earlier, which I could have done, is I could have not attached this top edge here. I just could have attached around this way and left this as an open pocket to put in a tag, a picture, something like that. Okay, so here is our basic card base. You have your outside panels, here's my deli paper pulls, and then my inside, and then she just closes up like this. Nifty, huh? All right, now, to close it, you know, on the pink card you saw I used the belly band. And I had cut some pretty scallop circles here using my Spellbinders dies. Emboss them and all that jazz, okay? Now on this one, I wanted to pick up the fact that I've got kind of a repeating circle pattern going on here based on what I've done on my jelly plate pulls. So I pulled out my Sizzix Circles number 2 die, and I cut a 2.5 inch, a 2 inch, and a 1.5 inch circle out of colors that we're going to go with this. Then stamped a little for you, punched that out. That happens to be a 3/4 inch image and punch, and tried to pull out the blues and the greens from these papers. Now to close it, instead of making a belly band, I have some baker's twine that just happens to work perfectly with this. And what I'm going to do is just wrap it around a couple of times. Leave me a nice end here. Wrap it around a couple times. Cut it. If I had my scissors right in front of my face, which would be why I can't find them. Kind of straighten that up a little bit. And just tie a bow. I'm not a bow person normally because I don't tie them really well, I confess. I would normally tie a knot, but obviously you want your card recipient to be able to get into the card. That's the whole point, isn't it? Alright, then I'm going to take my medallion, for lack of a better word, and I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of it, but I want to make sure that I add it only up here and down here so that my string is left free to do what string is going to do. So I'm going to cut a couple pieces of this. Hope that I've cleared my string, okay? Peel that backing off. And I'm going to offset it over here to the side a little bit so that it doesn't interfere with my bow. So I'm going to go over here and attach that. And there you have it. We've picked up the circle theme, we've picked up the greens and the blues in my prints, and we're tied shut. Now I want to show you this, but with a twist. We're going to use some double-sided pretty paper. Okay, I've already scored it, I don't know if you see it, at the same places, 2, 4, 8, and 10. Now, what we're going to do is on your outer short edges, you're going to make a mark at the halfway point, which in this case is 2 3/4. So we're going to go down here, measure, you can't see what I'm doing, sorry about that, 2 3/4, and just make a little pencil mark on this end. Flip it, do the same thing over here. 2 3/4. Again, whatever measurement you're using, you want to mark it at the halfway point. Okay, we've made our little mark on our paper. We're going to cut diagonally from there to the second fold. Okay, like that. And you can either do that in your cutter, you can do it with a straight edge and a craft knife. You can draw a line and freehand cut it if you would like. I'm going to use my cutter, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes I cut not where I'm supposed to. Oh, I did pretty good there. And then we're going to do the other side, do the same thing. Now, whoops, got to go this direction. You're just going to line up with your cutting channel, and you're going to cut from the mark that you made across to the second score line. And away we go. Okay. So, when you fold your card, you're going to have this two-tone look, which is pretty dang cool, I think. You can also take your pieces that you sliced off, cut this little flappy off, and attach them on here, like I've done on this one, and that gives you another look. It almost gives you kind of a chevron feel, if you will. And you can put, you wouldn't have to do any decorating to your panels, obviously, because your pretty paper does that for you. You can cut your white panel to put on the inside, like we've done here, for your greeting. Make you a belly band or some pretty ribbon or something to go across, and you've got a different look. So there you have it, guys. Another fancy fold card called the Double Z Fold. And as you can see, you can get all kinds of different variations with it. And then if you want to get even snazzier, you know, take your double-sided paper, do the diagonal cut, and then you have a completely different look. Again, it's not hard, but it looks fancy schmancy. I also wanted to tell you today that this video is part of a video hop that I'm participating in. So do look in the comments below, because I've given you links to the other videos to go to, the other YouTube creative folks. So you can hop around to everybody. You can just click from one to the next and see what everybody has to offer you today. It's a great way to get exposed to some new channels and maybe some artists that you didn't know about. So I hope you'll take the time to do that. I really do appreciate you coming by and watching my videos. I hope you'll like and subscribe if you haven't already. And in the meantime, have a crafty day, guys. Bye-bye.